Hey guys, I'm Jody.
And I'm Justin.
And today we got Meeples and Monsters published by AEG. And this is the Kickstarter version that we're going to be taking a look at. So this is a meeple bag building and worker placement game that plays 2 to 4 players. And the box says around 45 to 60 minutes. So we're going to take a brief look at kind of how to play and we'll come back up and give you our thoughts. In Meeples and Monsters, each player will seek to build the most effective bag of meeple units in order to complete quests and defeat monsters. Doing that will give you victory points, and whoever has the most points at the end of the game is the winner. The version you see here is going to be the Kickstarter edition, so it will have some upgraded pieces, and this will be an overview and not a detailed how to play. There are tons of different meeples, and each color represents a different kind of unit. Then you got the main board, and to start the game you will have 6 monster cards out. Each player has their own bag with starts with 3 of the gray meeples and then 7 of the white meeples in the bag. Then each player has their own board, gets 2 quests, and then you have upgraded cards up here available to get throughout the game. And you have monster cards, you have building tiles, quests, and the monster board here for the very end of the game. Players are going to take turns throughout the game, and on a player's turn, there are 3 phases. There's the development phase, main phase, and then draw phase. Each player will start by pulling 4 meeples out of their bag, and so this player will have these 4 meeples to use on their turn. However, the corruption meeples don't really do anything. So the first phase is the development phase, which corresponds to the middle of the board right here. This phase is where you can develop buildings and possibly upgrade some units. So what you can do here is choose this location or this. You can't choose both. So if you go here, you got to put 2 white meeples there, and then you can build a building. Or if you go here, then you will be putting out a meeple here that you will be putting into your discard pile, but you can do a building. Now if you go here, you have to place out the corresponding color meeple. So let's just say you had a yellow meeple. You can put this here, and now you're going to be able to get a level 2 yellow unit. After you finish assigning units, then you're going to resolve it. So if we do this, then these will go back into your discard pile, which is going to be your lodgings on your board. So the tavern is the ones you can use right now, and lodgings is basically your discard pile. And then we can build a building. So you got 4 to choose from. So let's just say we want to get this guy. All right, so then there's all these for rent spaces on the board where you can choose to put one of these buildings. So let's just say I wanted to put this here, and then you will resolve the effect here, which means the player would be able to get another yellow unit into the lodgings, and then this guy also goes to lodgings as well. So this section had let us upgrade a yellow unit. Now it shows the cost to upgrade to level 2 and level 3. So and this cost is in victory points. So to upgrade level 2, which is what we did, cost 1 victory point. And then you would take a level 2 yellow card and you would put it on your board. So now your yellow guy is an upgraded level 2 yellow unit. After the development phase, you now move on to the main phase, where you're going to assign units out to the board on either to locations or to fight monsters. Now to start the game, there are always these 4 locations right here. So what these do is this means you can put any color unit besides the corruption. You can't use the gray workers. So I could put my white worker there, and this would put out a yellow guy that I would be receiving at the end of this phase. This would require 2 units. So let's just say I had 2 white, or it really could be any color, but let's just say I had 2 starting units. I put those there, and then this would produce a red, but at the end of resolving, I would actually lose. So this would go back to the supply. This requires 2 of any color and a white, and you're gonna lose 1 at the end, but you get a blue unit, and then obviously these 2 colors will get you a black unit. So you can always assign workers to there, and then whatever buildings are built throughout the game are going to give you additional places to go. So I could place a white unit there to increase my black strength whenever I was battling monsters. So now what you can do is also assign units to monsters. Now each monster card is going to have some different things here. You got some points that you will get, a type of card, and this is the strength of the card, and this goes to the section of the board, the district, and this might be an effect down here. So in order to defeat this monster, I'm gonna have to have value 2 or greater to beat the skeleton. So let's say I had 2 white meeples to use and I wanted to defeat this monster. So white meeples are going to each have a strength of 1. So assigning 2 workers to this would defeat this at the end. And after assigning all your workers, then you will resolve combating the monster. Now it is possible to have overrun locations notated by these additional white meeples here. So if there is a district that has 2 or 3 monster cards in these rows here, then you could potentially have to take additional white meeples from the supply and put it in your lodging. So for instance, if I wanted to put a white meeple there and I didn't assign any workers to fight some of the monsters, then this is overrun and I would have to take an additional white meeple. However, if I had placed this white meeple and decided to combat a monster, then I would not have to take this white meeple. There are 5 basic units to the game, and then you also have more special units which might come out through special building tiles. At the end of your turn, you're going to use any unused meeples over here in the tavern into your lodgings. And then after you're done with that phase, you're moving on to the draw phase where you're going to draw more meeples, so in this case 4, and you will replenish any monsters that you might have defeated that turn by simply drawing from the monster card and putting it in the appropriate district based off the color. There are also quests that you can get throughout the game, and you also start with 2 at the beginning of the game. And these are basically objectives. You can get stuff right away, stuff that have ongoing benefits, and then end of the game objectives. But you have to fulfill the requirements in order to complete the quest. If at the end of the game you haven't completed it, you will actually have negative points. There are 3 of these cards mixed in the monster deck here. Now the first time you pull one of them, everybody will have to take an additional corruption meeple, and then everyone is going to be drawing 5 meeples instead of 4. The second time, you're going to again take another corruption, and now you're going to be drawing more meeples instead of the prior amount. And then the third time, you will now have access to the Dark Council. Once you have access to this Dark Council after the third card has arrived, then each player is only going to have 2 turns left before the end of the game. However, now players can assign units to try to defeat these more upgraded monsters. So these monsters have a higher strength to defeat, however you get more victory points and more things. And whoever has the most points at the end of the game is the winner. There's also the 4 Towers and Solo expansion, and this, well, obviously you can play solo, but you also have these tower tiles which will be placed in the 4 corners of the board, and these will let you have different objectives that you can try to shoot for throughout the game. So I was really excited to try this game because there are some other AEG games that I really like, and in particular, I really like Cubitos, and it kind of has that, not a bag building, but like a deck building type of component with dice. It's kind of like a dice building thing, and then all the different dice have different abilities. And that kind of gives me some of the vibes with this, because you got a bag building with meeples, and all the different meeples are different units which have different abilities. So I was really excited to try this game because I love that concept in games. Now I will say, I don't know, I'm a little let down. I was really hopeful about this game, but for some reason it just felt a little just not as super exciting to me. What is your overall thought about this game?
I think in general, I like the idea of bag building. I like the idea of having these different workers that you can place and use their different abilities. But when I first even just kind of looked at the game on the table, I didn't like the art that much, to be honest. And that's a taste thing. That's my own thing. Some of you may love the art. I don't know. But for me, it was just like, oh, that's not drawing me in too much. But okay, let's play because I like the idea of bag building and worker placement. So I thought, okay, that's cool. Let's try this out. But then I just felt like it was underwhelming. Yeah, and I felt like the worker placement part was a little boring, I guess you could say. For me, I don't know, especially after a while, I felt like it kind of got repetitive. Like you got a few spots you can go to, or you just go to monsters, go to monsters, go to monsters. it kind of felt a little uneventful for me, I guess you could say. I think I would like this game a little bit more if it was a little bit shorter, so maybe, fewer monster cards.
so, 'cause that way it wouldn't feel as repetitive after a while. One thing I did like that I felt like helps the repetitiveness and just basically provided me some more things to do was the Four Towers expansion that comes in the Kickstarter version. I don't know if it comes in the retail, I doubt it, but I did like that because it added, 4 other spots that you could basically go to and try to fulfill the rewards. So it's just yet another thing I could go to instead of feeling like I always have to go to monsters or a few of the little locations. I did like the towers. I did like getting different rewards or victory points or some more units.
But for someone like me, I don't necessarily want those extra things to have to do, because I generally don't like expansions and things like that anyway. So, but that again is a taste thing, and having those extra things just didn't really do much for me and add anything to it. Another one of the things that I felt was a little underwhelming was the actual card upgrades on your player board. I felt like if you were working to try and get these upgrades, I felt like maybe they should have provided a little bit extra incentive to actually do so. Now I know that they probably could add to some objectives or things like that you were trying to reach at the end of the game.
Yeah, like the quests.
Yeah, like the quests and things of that sort. But I feel like the cards themselves didn't do a lot to
during the game. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I felt like, one of the games I played, one reason why I was trying to really upgrade stuff was because of my quests. But I didn't actually find them to be super beneficial per se during the game. Now, as always, these are our thoughts, right? So this one was a miss for me probably, and probably
for me as well.
So this one was kind of a miss for us, but it's not a terrible game. For us, it's not amazing and it's not terrible. It's just kind of in the middle, but it's just kind of a miss. So some people might really like it. So if this looks like a game you might be interested in, definitely give it a try.
There you have it, guys. Those are our thoughts on Meeples and Monsters. Hope that you guys liked it, and we will see you on the next video.